Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is the first Friday I get to get back at it in a while, which feels pretty good to have the mental capacity to be able to, and the physical capacity to do it twice this week. Voice is getting a little bit better. The energy level is starting to come up. The pendulum hit its bottom exactly a week ago. You know, when I felt my worst, and I started to come back up, and it's just been slowly this week getting better and better and better. Spent the last couple of days in the saddle. And let me just tell you, from what I've seen that what we've had happening these last few days, what my team I know has taken on because it wasn't hitting me has been phenomenal because there's just so much going on right now. The other thing that is we're starting to see a lot more from the lending side. They're ramping up regulation. They're ramping up what we have to do. We had that change in the loan application. Many of you may have seen the need to go back and complete a new loan application when before we were just recycling things for you and working with you to get new things put together for your new file. And we couldn't do that, right? Because we have a whole new loan application, which completely impacted our technology. And we didn't realize to what impact it's had till we see a deal go all the way through. And once the deal goes all the way through, they see they had a lot of ancillary impact in many ways. So we got that we've had to overcome. Of course, we've got the Fannie Mae 7% thing, which I keep harping on, which is just completely crazy. We've got also the fact that I was out. Then we have other guideline changes, many things that have happened in this last 60 days that's just completely out of hand, that are way out of our control. And then, of course, when we're talking about interest rates and talking about the markets, a big concern for everybody. Back to the same statement all the time, guys, interest rates do not matter. And I get it, especially when you were locked at a certain rate. And then because of delays in getting the rehab done or a build done, because it's just the nature of the market right now. Nobody has control over this. It's just people don't want to work. People the labor forces don't want to work. Therefore, manufacturing costs are up because they have fewer people to do the manufacturing. You have fewer people to put all the stuff together into a house to get it done. Therefore, everything's going up. We don't control that. It's the same as we can't control the market when it comes to interest rate. The cost of things are increasing. So back to one of the things that I illustrated earlier, cost of things are increasing, but at least in the lending industry, if cost is a real massive factor to you, right? Sometimes there's points involved, sometimes there's not. You know, if you're putting more money down, there's less potential points. There's also lower interest rate. And if that is that massive deal for you, if you're going to have a hard time putting your head on the pillow at night because of that, you can always add more of your funds into the deal to bring it down. You can't do that in any other sector of the market. There's absolutely no other place that you can put your money to get a better deal just by putting that in. Oh, there's Costco, right? You can buy more of things, right? Potentially risk it going bad on you. You know, you can buy a bunch of extra stuff to get a lower price. And if you don't use it, it goes to waste, which we are really good as Americans at wasting things. But if you're building a house, you can't just buy extra lumber and get a lower price. It doesn't work that way, right? But you can do put more money down into a house and also get a lower interest rate and less points. So something to consider, something to think about. Let's talk about the market right now. You know, so we've had some news come out with respect to inflation. The Fed's keeping things as it is. We actually had economic news come out showing that things are actually not as good as they thought it would be. Even it was just a very slight miss. That slight miss did not translate to what people thought it should. So the market reacted in a way that's actually beneficial. So we're showing the charts here, and things are a little bit funky on my screen here, so it might a little bit harder to do the share screen. But when we're doing the share screen, you see these charts, right here is the 50-day moving average. That's what we're trying to stay on top of as far as to keep from things going way out of hand as far as, you know, rates plummeting. Well, we're staying above that 50-day moving average in every single chart that I looked at. I looked at everything from the 2.0 all the way to the 4.0. This particular chart service does not allow me to see the 4.0, so I have to look at that on my phone because the old one was not going onto my computer as well. I don't even want to get into that. But we're staying above that 50-day moving average across the board, which is acting as a support. But we also have these resistance that's going to keep us from going even higher. So we're trading in a very narrow channel. And depending upon how that news comes out, that news could push it one way or the other, influencing interest rates. The other thing of it is these mortgage-backed securities are not as much of an influence over the interest rate for investors as they used to be. Why is that? Because we can't go to Fannie and Freddie to back it up. Think about it. Whoever's putting up the money for us to do these loans, when you consider what they are evaluating, they got to decide whether or not that they are willing to take on what they perceive as risk as with the investors out there. Since that is the case, they're going to go higher on the interest rate because they don't have federal backing, right? They don't have this safety net. If you're putting 20% down, they may charge points. Understand why. They may be using that to buy an insurance policy to protect them because they're still fearful. We're in a very, very unstable future when you think about what's going on with the extreme monetary, the printing of money. Basically, we have money way out there, more than we've seen ever before in the history of mankind. We also have all this control over the mortgage-backed securities because the U.S. Treasury owns the majority of them. We are in uncharted territory. So when you're a person who's putting up the capital for somebody to buy a house to rent out, and historically speaking, when you look at what happened in 2008, that's part of the crash that happened. Because people were buying houses indiscriminately and they weren't even cash flowing. They're not seeing what you're doing as an investor. All they know is there's potential risk here. So they're going to add to that. Just understand, just because it's in the mid fours, and it was in the mid threes a couple of months ago, guys, the rate of inflation keeps going up. This is still a gift. In fact, we've seen inflation jump significantly when you're looking at full cost of living, not the CPI, not the Fed's inflation measurements, the real rate of inflation. So when that jumps, and interest rate jumps, you still have that same gap. So consider that. You're not losing anything by that going up because inflation keeps going up so significantly. So just know that you're still going to get that enormous return because the inflationary environment we're in and the extreme inflationary environment we're headed to. So don't delay. If you have the opportunity to get into a contract, get into that contract, look at those numbers, be sure it's something you want to stay into for a long period of time, because that's where you're going to make hundreds of % return. If you don't believe that, get on the phone, set an appointment, let's talk about it. All right. Thank you. Thank you for the trust. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for backing up my team in my absence and helping them to be successful, because they've been very successful this month with what we've been up against. Has it been our best month? No. But when you consider what we've had to fight, it's been a great month. Great people that we've worked with, great team working with me. Just appreciate y'all. I will talk to you guys on Tuesday. Have a really, really, really good weekend.